And rules, I call up House Resolution 1519 and ask for its immediate consideration.
The clerk will report the resolution.
House Calendar Number 166, House Resolution 1519. Resolved that upon adoption of this resolution, it shall be in order to consider in the House the bill, H.R. 8393, to enable the people of Puerto Rico to choose a permanent, non-territorial, fully self-governing political status for Puerto Rico, and to provide for a transition to and the implementation of that permanent, non-territorial, fully self-governing political status, and for other purposes. All points of order in consideration of the bill are waived. In lieu of the amendment in the nature of a substitute, recommended by the Committee on Natural Resources, now printed in the bill, an amendment in the nature of a substitute consisting of the text of Rules Committee Print 117-74 shall be considered as adopted. The bill as amended shall be considered as read. All points of order against provisions in the bill as amended are waived. The previous question shall be considered as ordered on the bill as amended and on any further amendment thereto to final passage without intervening motion except one. 1 hour of debate equally divided and controlled by the chair and ranking minority member of the Committee on Natural Resources or their respective designees, and 2, 1 motion to recommit.
The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized for 1 hour.
Madam Speaker, for the purposes of debate only, I yield the customary 30 minutes to the gentleman from Pennsylvania, my good friend Mr. Reschenthaler, pending which I yield myself such time as I may consume. During consideration of this resolution, all time yielded is for the purposes of debate only. I ask unanimous consent that all members be given 5 legislative days to revise and extend their remarks.
Without objection.
Madam Speaker, yesterday the Rules Committee met and reported a rule, House Resolution 1519, providing for consideration of H.R. 8393, the Puerto Rico Status Act, under a closed rule. The rule provides 1 hour of general debate, equally divided and controlled by the chair and ranking member of the Committee on Natural Resources, and provides 1 motion to recommit. Madam Speaker, Puerto Ricans have been U.S. citizens since Joan Shafroth Act of 1917. That's over 100 years the Puerto Rican people have been Americans. And yet, for those 100 years and more, in fact, going all the way back to the United States annexation of the island in 1898, the U.S. government has not guaranteed our fellow citizens on Puerto Rico the full and equal rights of citizens on the mainland. Puerto Rico has faced multi-layered crises rooted in this century-long policy, crises that have been compounded in recent years by natural disasters, the COVID-19 pandemic, and migration. Puerto Rico's current status prevents the island from enjoying full democracy at the national level. Puerto Rico's delegate to Congress has limited voting rights, and the Puerto Rican people cannot vote in U.S. presidential elections, even though the U.S. government enacts and enforces their national laws and residents pay federal taxes. Puerto Rico also cannot set its own monetary, trade, or immigration policy. They are unable to join international organizations or enter into international agreements, highlighting the complicated implications of the island's current status as a territory. Puerto Rico's status also limits the island economically. For example, in granting Puerto Rico the ability to restructure its debt in 2016, Congress established an oversight and management board that had the power to override decisions of the governor and legislature of Puerto Rico. Look, it is time Congress recognizes that Puerto Rico has no interest in being a colony, just as we in the United States should have no interest in being a colonizing power in the year 2022. We are here today to consider a rule that would bring H.R. 8393, the Puerto Rico Status Act, to the floor. This bill details the transition to and the implementation of a non-territory status for Puerto Rico, finally giving the people of Puerto Rico a choice to determine their own status. It tasks the Puerto Rico State Elections Commission to carry out a nonpartisan campaign to educate and inform voters before holding a referendum for Puerto Ricans to decide between statehood, independence, or independence followed by free association with the United States. I am proud to represent a vibrant Puerto Rican community in central Massachusetts, and many of my Puerto Rican constituents have family members still living on the island. Their family members, just like Americans on the mainland, deserve the right to self-determination. They ought to have an opportunity to carve their own path and build the future that they want. The Puerto Rico Status Act is the result of serious negotiation and careful compromise to clarify available status options and ensure a productive process. And I'm grateful to Chairman Grijalva, to Chairwoman Velasquez, and Congresswoman Gonzalez Colon, the delegate for Puerto Rico, for all of the work that they have done to get us to this point. Ultimately, the people of Puerto Rico must decide on the island status, and it is up to us in Congress to help facilitate that process. I urge my colleagues to support this rule and the underlying bill, and with that, I reserve the balance of my time.